that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner?
Oh, hey there, YouTube. We're back yet today for another game review. Today, very excited to check out Startup from Startup Games LLC. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 9 and up. It'll take about an hour to play. And Startup is the get your business going business family game for all ages. And in this game, you will be starting up a business. You're going to be chucking a lot of dice, trying to make good investments and upgrade your business at certain strategic points, doing all sorts of different things to improve your business, and in the end, get to the 5th floor of your business headquarters. What am I talking about? Let's open it up, check it out. Alright, we're going to take a look at Startup on our handy-dandy grid mat, which turns every game into a space game. So first and foremost, we got our handy-dandy rule sheet. It is, let's see, it's 8 pages, double-sided, no color. It's just black and white. It's pretty iffy. It could be much, much better if things were flipped around and reworded. There's a couple spots on the board that you don't even know what you're supposed to do when you land on them. There's like the buckets of money and the cash cow, and they don't explain at all what's in the rule booklet for that. But it will have you up and running in no time at all. It just needs some tweaks and some rewordings and some things moved around. But it will have you going. So, we're going to go over the components, and then we'll go into the gameplay with this game real loosely. I do want to say there's a lot going on in this game, as you can probably guess by the board, but it is still a very, very simple game at heart. It's for ages 9 and up, and it's designed for families and kids, I would say. So, in Startup, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be starting up your own business, trying to make the most money, and then eventually get these little cubes right here, and have 5 levels on the building in your headquarters. So that's what you're going to be racing. You're going to be trying to build up the highest headquarters and get to be the first person to get to 5 stories on your headquarters. Right here, you're going to have your handy-dandy little startup expertise track. So this is going to keep track of everything pertaining to your company, including down at the bottom how much of your company you own, because you are going to have a chance later on in the game to have an IPO and sell off part of your country and go public. You're also going to have opportunities to sell off part of your companies to various different people for large chunks of money. But the thing is, do you want to save yourself until you get to the IPO and then make the real big money, or do you want to make small potatoes and then just sell off bits and chunks of your company and take the money early on, which will then allow you to bump up your expertise points, your track right here. And as you can see, there's nice little pegs. They're not going to go anywhere. Component-wise, very nice components, I will say, in this game. But this is going to keep track of the various different things that you're going to be keeping track of in the game. Products and services, your human resources, your sales and marketing, your legal and accounting, your research development, customer service. All these different things are going to play different roles in the game. And we'll get to a little bit more on how that works later. So next you're going to have a company. So we'll just grab this one. This is, let's see, Plushco Hotels Corp. Comfy is better is their motto, and they're luxury hotels. They have very good customer service and sales and marketing. Everything else starts at a 1. You're going to get a bunch of these companies. For the most part, they're all just about the same. They're all pretty much going to have 1s for most things, then 1, 3, and 1, 2. No big surprises here, but it's your job to make this company bigger, and you can do that by purchasing more pegs. You're gonna be able to do that by purchasing expertise points. And there's a little track right down here that's going to tell you exactly how much each one's going to cost. Now, it's one thing that I will say. This board has a lot going on. But most of it is really, really helpful when it comes to playing the game. Over here is how much you need to spend on expertise points. These are all how you're going to play different spots on the boards, because there are going to be a lot of different spots on the board. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So next over here, if you do decide to go IPO and you have the biggest IPO, you're going to get this thing in front of you. And each time you pass a certain point on the board, everyone's going to get money. You're going to get a little bit more money because you have this. You're going to gain an extra, I believe it's $20,000 each time you pass the corporate and income slot. So we'll get a little bit more into that later. You got your pegs here. You got your big bag of pegs so you can keep track of your expertise points. You're going to get these charts right here. Don't worry, they look really intimidating. You're like, oh my gosh, what is that? Are you joking? Yeah, trust me, they look intimidating. They're not really. These are actually very, very helpful for those who are not the best at math. And you will be using these charts to try and figure out how much money you're going to be making during various different business opportunities that you have. Over here, you got your total expertise points. This is going to be helping you figure out how much money you're going to be making on your IPO. Wow, sounds intimidating. Trust me, it is not.
Last but not least, I think this is the last component we have to look at, are these networking event things right here. These are going to be happening when you land on a network event card. Everyone's going to get a network event card, which is going to be able to hold a card. I don't know if you can see, but you can slide one in there, like so. And then you're going to have a double-sided card, which will say true or false. Then you're going to be putting that in there, and then you're going to be passing this around. But we'll get more into that when we get to the spots on the board. So, as I mentioned, you're going to be going around the board. You're going to be trying to build up your headquarters by purchasing these little squares. And the first person to get to 5 of these squares, or if you play a shorter game, 4 or 3 of them, is going to be the winner of the game. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game works. But let's go ahead and go over all the different spots on the board that you're going to be doing. So first, there's going to be capital opportunities. These are spots right here. You're going to draw one of these cards. I completely forgot the cards. There's 3 kinds of cards on the board. You're going to have various different business opportunities. You're going to have capital opportunities, which will be you selling off part of your company. And then you're going to have shock, which can be random. They can be really good. They can be really bad. They can give you moral dilemmas and moral choices that you have to make, which was one intriguing aspect of this game that I thought was kind of cool for a lighter game, was that you have the option to bribe people and do illegal things, but there's a card in there where if you do those illegal things, well, you're going to have to pay quite a bit of cash if that card comes up. But if it doesn't come up, well, then you're going to just get all the money and run. So we got capital opportunity over here. When you land on one of these, we'll take a look at a sample card. You have the option to sell 10% of your company for $400,000. So you have to make that decision because you can't get back chunks of your company. So if you sell 10% of your company, you're going to take that out, so you now own 90% of your company, but you're going to get $400,000, which is going to be really good because it's going to allow you to purchase a lot more of these pegs, which are going to make you better at other things, which we'll get to right now. Next, you got price wars. And price wars, essentially, you're just going to roll up 2 dice and add your sales and marketing points. So as I mentioned, your sales and marketing points are going to be right here. The high score between all the players, because all the players are going to be doing this, is going to get $10,000 times the difference. So if you're playing a 2-player game and somebody rolls a 6, somebody rolls an 8, then somebody's going to get $20,000. Building opportunities are exactly what they sound like. They're going to allow you, if you don't have a loan out, to build part of the first, second, or third, fourth level of your building. One thing I forgot to mention, that this is a paper money game. You're going to be getting paper money. It's one-sided, and I believe the increments are from $5,000 to, I think, $500,000. Also, you can go broke. There are $100,000 loan notes. And if you have these are kind of crippling because when you have these, you can't build your building up and you can't buy expertise points, so you definitely want to get rid of these as soon as possible. So we got the building opportunities. Next, you're going to be able to play the market, and essentially how this is going to work is you're either going to decide if you're going to get stocks or bonds, and then you're going to roll the dice. And if you get a low number, most of the time, bad things are going to happen and you're going to lose money. If you get a high number, then you're going to gain some money. And there's a big chart up here which will tell you all about how to do that. It's really pretty simple. Moving onward, we have a lawsuit. That means you're going to be trying to sue someone else. And if you couldn't guess, that's where your legal and accounting peg is going to do. So obviously, if somebody's on 10 on legal accounting and you're on 1, you probably don't want to sue you. You're probably not going to want to sue them because they're going to squash you. You got research and development. And there's a lot of spots around the board. I believe there's 12 that are going to have various different things like this. So they'll have research and development, human resources, products and services. And what that means is you're going to be drawing a business opportunity card. And then you're going to just read it aloud and say, you have a chance to hire a Nobel Prize winning scientist. She may help you to develop new products. So you have a chance to invest, and you have to invest. Some of the spots that you land on, you don't have to do it, but these ones in particular, you do have to invest. So you have to decide, do I want to go big or do I want to go small? Well, the way to do this is to look at, so we landed on research and development. We'd say, all right, we got a 1 on research and development. That's not very good. So we would probably do the minimum amount, which would be $30,000. So how this works, and I'm actually going to move the camera. I don't normally do this, but we'll get the shaky cam going, is you're going to roll the dice, and we see I got a 7. So we're going to go over here to research and development on a 7, and that's not going to work at all. Sorry, I can't really zoom in with this thing. But you'd match it up, and you'd say, all right, I rolled a 7, I have 1. I'm going to lose 10 cents for every dollar. So on $30,000, I'd lose 10%. That means I would lose $3,000. However, if I would have rolled high, I could have potentially gained, a lot of money. And the more pegs you have in a different spot, the more money you're going to gain. Shot cards, we already talked about them. Let's just see other cards. Business opportunity, capitalist opportunity. There's going to be a chance for you to sell your IPO and go public, which is going to make you a lot of money. Networking opportunities. That's the one I wanted to talk to you about. So essentially what's going to happen in a networking event, you are going to take this and you're going to put it in there, true or false. And then the player that's going is going to trade their card like this with someone else. And then if there's a third player, that player is going to trade their card with someone else. Everyone's going to put this in. And then the player that's deciding is going to have to guess if the network opportunity, the networking event, did you hear about, is true or false. If they guess it right, they're going to gain money. If they guess it wrong, they're going to lose money. Any other spots on the board I don't think I really missed? We did the price wars, the IPOs, the lawsuits. There's going to be a lot of different stuff you're going to do from turn to turn, but you're going to be doing it over and over again. So by near the end of the game, you're going to know all that's going to be happening. Last spot I forgot to mention are the corporate income spot. Essentially how this is going to work is when you pass that, you're going to be collecting as many pegs as you have up here. So the more pegs you have up here, the more money you're going to get. You just times how many pegs you have by $10,000 and you get that much money. Also, if you have the biggest IPO thing, you're going to gain an additional $20,000. You're going to continue going around the board until someone has built their headquarters up to 5 or whatever number you want to play to, and then that person will be the winner of Startup. And that, in a nutshell, is how Startup is played.
Okery dokery. Startup from Startup Games LLC. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the pro side, component-wise, components are pretty nice. I mean, the boards are nice, the little laminated sheet is nice. It's very helpful if you're not very good at math. These little cubes, which you're using for your towers, are pretty nice. The peg system works surprisingly really, really well. Keeping track of everything. I was a big fan of this. Paper money is, it's not what anybody wants in any game, but it is a necessary evil in this game. I can't really think of a better way to do it than with paper money, but it is, paper money. I wish it would have been double-sided. But the board's nice. I like the artwork. My wife personally wasn't the biggest fan. I'll get more into that in the cons, but I like the artwork, even though it does look kind of cartoonish and amateurish. I actually like that art style. The box insert is very nicely done. It's going to hold everything right. The little standee with the trophies, nicely done. Another pro I had was on each turn you're going to be doing something pretty different. For the most part, you're going to be looking at your different thing. Like, oh, this time I'm rolling for human resources. This time I got shock. And I'm going to be drawing a shock card. This time I have a chance to build up my building. The next time I'm going to be doing a price war. The next time I'm doing my IPO. The next time I might be suing somebody, or having corporate income and deciding, just making a lot of money, and this time I'm going to try and focus on building things or taking loans if I have to. There's quite a lot of stuff going on in this game, even though it is a very, very simple game. Last comment of the pro I have in this game is I think it does what it set out to accomplish to do. This was supposed to be a business and math game for young children, not really young children like the kind I work with 3 to 5, but definitely the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 kind of range. And I think it succeeds at what it was attempting to do, which is always good when a game can do that. Moving on to the cons, however, it succeeds at what it was trying to do, but that doesn't make it a good game. And I have a hard time reviewing this game for a reason that I was trying to get myself in the mindset of, okay, if I had a 10-year-old, would I want to play this with my 10-year-old and teach them about business and about economics and math and all that sort of stuff? And part of me says yeah, but then part of me says there's a lot of stuff that's just amiss with this game. Let's just start at the beginning. Rule booklet is not very well done. They need to move certain things around and add certain things. I mentioned in the middle part, there's 3 spots on the board that you have no idea what they do. I'm assuming they're just blank spots and they don't do anything, but the rule booklet doesn't say anything. Also, corporate income. The first time we played this, we were like, man, we don't have any money. That's because we realized when we landed on corporate income, you're supposed to be collecting corporate income every single time you pass it. That's something you need to put near the beginning of the rule booklet, not near the end. That's a very important part of the game, is corporate income. And we didn't realize that we were supposed to be getting paid every time we passed that until near the tail end of the game. Graphic design, this was something my wife pointed out and complained about. She said there were too many colors of green. I don't know what that means, but there's like 3 or 4 colors of green on the board, and the board is green. She also didn't like the cartoonish artwork. Moving on to the biggest con, though, is that this game is super ridiculously easy, simple. Now, this game is going to be for some people, and I'm sure there's some people out there who are really going to enjoy this game. However, those people are most likely going to be the people who on a typical game night get together and play things like Phase 10 and Uno and Skip-Bo and Monopoly and Clue. Not to say that those are bad games, but the people who buy hobby games, you have no interest in the game. I can pretty much tell you, if you have played Settlers of Catan or Ticket to Ride or Kingsburg or any of those games, you want no part of this game. And you're probably not going to want any part of this game for your kids as well, unless you're really big into business and you want to share that with them. Because this game does come across as being like, wow, there's a lot of stuff about business in this game. But the bottom line is, for those people who play games regularly, the game is boring. You're going to be rolling dice a lot for various different things. It is incredibly luck-driven. If you roll 2s over and over and over again, you are going to lose this game. Guaranteed. Period. If you roll between 2 and 5 every single turn, you have absolutely 0 chance of winning this game. 0. That's not a good thing to have in a game. Also, I mean, when they do mix it up and you get like the true or the false thing, essentially that sounds like a cool idea. When I was reading, I was like, oh, it's a nifty idea. It's really just a coin flip. You're guessing 50-50 shot. You either have that it's going to be true or false, and you're just guessing. There's just not enough meat on this game, and that's fine in most children's games. That's fine in most kids' games and family games. But this has 0 meat. I mean, you just roll the dice, do what's on the space, and then go on your merry way. Roll the dice, do what's on the space, roll some more dice, then keep moving on until you can build up a building. And that's the last big con I have with this game. If you don't land on building opportunities, you're not going to win the game. So if someone else just gets lucky enough, and you may have way more money than them, but if they just land on the building opportunities, then they're going to win because they're going to be able to build their building faster. Now, that's a problem, because it's all completely random and luck-based. Overall, if you couldn't tell, I'm not a fan of Startup. I see what they're trying to do, and I think what they're trying to do is a noble and a good thing to do, because I personally am really good at math, and my wife is absolutely terrible at math. She's atrocious. And I'm like, how can you be this bad? And I love the fact that there's games that try and fix that at a younger age for kids, but this is not the game you're probably going to want to go with. That was Startup from Startup Games LLC. For me, not a big fan. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. Also, in the comments below, let me know. Have you ever worn a wig? I personally wear an orange wig when I go to Denver Broncos game and also Comets game, which is my local hockey team. It's got big, crazy orange hair. But do you like wearing wigs? Do you wear it for Halloween costumes? Are you bald and wear them? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm always curious to know more about wigs. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
That was the review for Startup. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bauer's Game Corner.